Hi, my name is Ema, and this is something that I don't do. I don't discuss my business, not to the public. Um, but right now, I'm having to learn how to forgive me. Um, I need to start by saying everything that has occurred has been an action of not following what God's order was for me. Um, to get you up to date here, I need to talk about where it started and take accountability for my actions. About 7 years ago or so, maybe eight, I became involved with a man. I won't say his name, but his initials are Envy. He was married. I knew his wife. We weren't friends, we didn't hang out, but I knew who she was. No justification whatsoever to deal with a married man, but I did. I was coming out of a marriage myself. It was at the end of it. Never to excuse my behavior because I knew better. Um, Me and this individual have known each other for years. Matter of fact, years before this, um, we used to talk on the phone a lot. We're in this organization and we see each other quite a bit. When me and him started talking back again, I was hurting. I was vulnerable. But I made a conscious decision to mess with another woman's husband. When we started dealing with each other, I already knew that he was a person that cheated. We had heard about it, we knew about it, I knew about it. Um, so when we started dealing with each other, um, he gave me the spiel. And the spiel was that this gets hard. Feelings come, emotions come, and this get hard. And I'm never leaving my family. I'm not in love with my wife, but I love my wife. I love my grandkids. And I love how my life is. So we went into this. I went into this and I said I can handle it. We messed around for 2 years, and for 2 years, he was my man. There was never an overnight. He let me know I don't do overnights. Um, and for 2 years, he was my man. He had a key to my house. He came and went as he pleased. He showed up whenever he got ready to. And I was committed to him. Now, in the interim of this, I'm praying. I'm talking to God. Prior to me and him dealing with each other, I went to church. I worshiped. But when I started dealing with him, I was convicted. I didn't want to go to the church building anymore. And he mentioned to me, I know your work. Notice that your worship isn't the same. And I said to him, I feel like a hypocrite. How can I go to the church and get my shout on and praise on and all of those different things? And um, I'm laying down with somebody else's husband. Um, as time continued to go on, I realized that nothing good can come from this. that I deserve better. And throughout me and his interactions, I would say things like that to him. I would say things like, I'm a people person. We're just confined to one space. We're just confined to one little big space. What it reminded me of is in Aladdin, the genie in the bottle. And he said, I come out and I got this big old world out here. But at the end of the day, I'm a prisoner because I'm confined to this itty little bitty space. And that's how I started to feel. See, I had a past and I did things, man, but I never been engaged in a whole relationship with another man, another woman's man. And that was something I prided myself on. I mean, I almost led with that when I spoke to people. Hi, I'm Ema. I don't deal with nobody else's man. And he would just tell me, enjoy the moment. Why you got to talk about that? Just enjoy the moment. And throughout the time we dealt with each other, I told him I was going to date people. I was going to see what was out there for me. But the type of person I am, I'll date people, but I'm not going to sex you, and I'm sexing him. You know, now the truth of the matter is I always had somebody lined up when it was the end of something, right? When I know it was finna be over, I might start talking to somebody else or have my eye on somebody else, or somebody else then came up to me and slid to me, but somebody was always lined up. I've always looked to be accepted, to be loved. By the wrong people, instead of letting God do the work. I used to drink. I used to be on drugs. I don't do that no more. God has freed me in that area, but I continue to stay in bondage in this area. So I made a decision that I was done. I couldn't do it no more. I done fell in love with him. Another woman's man. But because of the God that I serve, I know that God would never bless that. God is a God of order, not of chaos and confusion. And I always knew that in my heart. This was something that would never work, and I can't get time back. And my desire is to have a partner, somebody to build something with. So I told him I couldn't do it and I was done. Now, prior to me telling him that, I went out of town. And I told him I was going out of town to see a male friend, because I'm trying to figure out how to get out. I really don't want to be out because I'm in love with this man. And I'm not one to fall in love easily. I fall in strong like. I fall in lust. But I've been in love, I can count on one hand. So when I went out of town, I come back and my daughter and them picked me up from the airport, and he had been calling. I talked to him while I was out of town, and I was going to come home and just try to get my mind right. You know, I stayed in my own hotel. I didn't stay with my friend, and I had some good times with my friend. Wasn't no sexual activity or anything like that. But again, he knew I was going to see a friend. And when I got home, my daughter's guy was with us when she picked me up, and he saw this man, and he thought it was somebody that I was dealing with, and he came and he punched me and he fought me, and my daughter was here, and she pushed him and called him all kind of punk A this and punk A that, and my kids they're grown, but they're real respectful. And I didn't tell nobody. My daughter knew. My kids love me. And what she said is, Mama, he ain't right, but I know you love him. And I done been in all kind of relationships, let me say that. And I done been married 4 times, let me say that. And I left for less. In the interim of me dealing with him, I can say in my mind, tangibly, he did more for me than almost anybody I dealt with other than my first husband, which he's deceased. He died from an overdose. But tangibly, he did more than anybody I ever dealt with. And I had a surgery and he showed up. But in the interim, he talked to me real regularly a lot of times. Like, I remember one time I called his phone, and he was at home with his wife and the grandkids, and he cussed me out, told me, you don't call my MFing phone. I don't walk around with my phone in my hand. I'm not finna be doing that. I ain't never did that. I'll call you when I get a chance. And I took that abuse. People have asked me why. I talked to a couple of people, my girlfriend Fee and my sister Me, Fee and Me, and I'm not going to say their full names, but a couple of other people in my life, Kay, and they asked me, why do you stay? And I say I'm done. And he went and bought gauzes and everything for the black eye and the busted lip he gave me. And then he wanted to have sex, and he said, I love you. And the truth of the matter is, that's all I ever wanted, was to be loved. For me, see, I'm a person that I fought and all that, but I didn't really want to fight. And I'm loud by nature. That's who I am. I'm loud. I'm a loud person. Not I'm yelling, I get emotional, I get loud, and I get to moving my hands and all of that different stuff, but I'm not yelling at you. But will I fight? Yeah, I'll fight. But that ain't what I want to do. I'm over 50. And I finally got out of it. I started dating somebody else, and he found out. He came to my house, and this was months after we stopped dealing. And he sent me money. He would always give me money, and I would buy him things and do nice things for him, but he just gave money. I could tell him something I wanted, and he would send me the money. And I believe that he loved me. But I finally got out, and I got involved with somebody, and we dated, and we got married, and that marriage didn't last long. Like I said, I've left for less. I left because you disrespecting me, calling me on my name. No. Let's try to go to counseling. Let's try to make it work. And I was told Well, we gonna do that for you, the problem. And I always said that out of every relationship I've had, I'm the common denominator. So let's look at you. And in the interim of all of this, I'm constantly working on me, and constantly looking at me and my behaviors, and you know, my caretaking ways, my people pleasing ways. So I'm learning how to have my backbone, and I'm standing up for myself, and all of these different things. So that marriage didn't last, because everybody else outside of that marriage meant more to the person I was married to than myself. What everybody else thought meant more, and we weren't a team. So I got a divorce. And I was in a store one day, and I ran into the guy again, NV. I see him again. And he asked, can we talk? And he tell me how wrong I did him, because him and the guy that I married ended up bumping heads and having an altercation and all of that different stuff. And it got back to his wife that he was involved with me, and they had whatever issues they had. And so when we came back and ran back into each other, we sat down and talked, and he told me how much I hurt him. And because before I got involved with the guy, and me and him talked, he told me to just give him some time. He would leave the wife. Give him some time, he would leave. And I told him, no, I'm not willing to wait another year, another 2 years. No, I'm not willing to wait. But in the back of my mind, I always knew that it wasn't going to work. God not going to bless mess, right? And I would always wonder, when was my turn? When would I get cheated on, right? Because he was married a long time, and he cheated a lot of times. Had women in different states, you know. I don't know why I didn't think it would happen to me. I knew it would in my spirit, in my gut. I knew it would happen to me. But I would tell myself the fantasy, the illusion that he loved me and he wouldn't do it to me. Not looking at the fact that he put his hands on me. And him cheating should be the last of my worries. But he went and got me medication, and he went and got the gauze to clean me up, and he held me that night, and we had sex that night, and he said, I love you. See, for somebody like me, man, I could get up and I can do all these things, and I can work, and I can make money, and I can do this, and I can do that. But my desire, like, I don't need a man, right? But there's a fear in the back of here of growing all along. So it's like I'm over 50 now, and you know, I used to say this saying that having a piece of man is better than having no man at all. And then somewhere I grew up and I matured, and I say that's bullcrap. And that's when I started not taking the verbal abuse and the toxicity, and I would walk away. But this time I got caught up. I got caught up. And we started talking, and he told me how bad I hurt him, and I apologized. And I said, I'm so sorry for hurting you, and I apologize for hurting him. And I told him, my bad for hurting you. I never meant to hurt you, and I never meant to do you harm. I'm sorry. He said, I love you, and you mean so much to me. And I said, I love you too. And we started back dealing with each other in that moment. Now, him and the wife were still married, but they weren't together. And I told him that if this is something that you wanted to do, I'm going to make some demands, right? That you need to finalize your divorce. And he said, well, it takes time, I got to make sure things are in order. I don't just come with a duffel bag of stuff, like the other people you might deal with. I got some things going on, and, but I'm going to get it. And I told him, okay, I'm not willing to wait a year. I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to wait all that time. You need to get some stuff. I'm not willing to be your secret like I was for over 2 years. I'm putting down some demands. Because I fell in love. And even though I married somebody else, and I did love the person that I married, I really did love him. And but with envy, I fell in love. Somebody else's husband. And we started back spending time. Now we're able to go places. Now, mind you, I was his secret, but he was never my secret. Like, he knew my family, he knew my kids. He was around when he would show up for the holidays. If it was the end of the day, I might meet him and take him a plate or something like that. But he knew my family. If my mama needed something, dealing with the plumbing or something like that, he would come through. If the kids needed a battery, he would come through. I told him, you get your yard cut, you need to get my yard cut. Things like that. I got comfortable being the side chick. And I always said I ain't side chick material. I'm the chick. But somewhere along the line, I lost me. And I remember him telling me he never wanted to burn my light out. Like he said, you have a light, you got this glow about you, and I don't never want to dim your light. I want you to always keep your light. And if it's something that I'm doing to dim your light, I'm going to go about my business. I don't want to dim your light. You got this glow. Little do I know, every time I made a decision to sleep with him, every time I silenced myself, every time I continued to lower my esteem, my light was getting dim. I was a person at one point that had no self-esteem. I didn't like me. But prior to this situation, I started liking me again, and I walked with my head held high, my shoulders back. I ain't kissing no butt. I ain't got to fit in no clique. Because I am wonderfully and awesomely made by my Father, Lord Jesus Christ, God Almighty. And I'm not going to make no excuse for being me. That was me then. Somewhere along the line, the esteem that I worked to build up, to learn how to love me, to learn how to respect me, to learn how to be a lady, it all leaked out. I was leaking for years. And we came back together and we went out of the country, and he traveled with me and my friends, and she eventually left the house, and he eventually got his own place. He lived with me for a second. That only lasted a second because we went to visit his family, and while we were there, he talked to me so horribly, and I was crying, and he said, don't nobody give a damn about them tears. It's about my family. You need to just sit here and be by me. And I wiped the tears and I shut up. It was around his birthday, and I got him a birthday gift, and I gave him his birthday gift. And anything that I wanted to do on that time frame, I didn't get a chance to do because I needed to be there for him and sit by his side and be his girl while his family's there. And a little bit more leaked out. And when we got back, I was all these names. I was this be this and be that. And eventually I said, your mama's to be. Like, I've always made it my business. Like, yeah, I'm loud and I yell and I hoo and woo and da da. But I've always made it my business not to belittle our black men. They get enough in the world itself and let alone have to deal with it in their home. So no, I'm not going to do that. And I've always said if being with somebody brings out the worst in you, you need to get the hell away from them. And I found myself saying, your mama's to be. What? And I found myself looking at myself and looking at them in the mirror at this person that I'm becoming. See, I was in a marriage that person was caught ignorant and I said, no, I'm getting away. Anybody that I deal with, male, female, cat, or dog, if it causes me to be less of a person that God created me to be, I need to get away. And I said those things. I said them. And we stopped dealing again for a couple of months. And we came back together again. I mean, like I said, I've had a hard life, and in all my life, I've never been talked to the way that this man talked to me. Never. And he told me, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't love you, if I didn't care about you. Now, I ain't been perfect, okay? Because in the interim of me and him dealing with each other, he went out of town with the wife, and I had company over her, and it was a dude, and actually he was coming to take me to the store, but it didn't matter. He came in the house. I told him the dude was here. He told me to make him leave, right? And with all this stuff, he told me he could never trust. No, he said he was hurt. I hurt him. Any time I said I was hurt, it was all disregarded. Last year we came back together again. We were together because when we stopped dealing, when he called me out my name and I told him your mama and this, that, and the other, he moved out of here. And he ended up having some health problems. And when he had the health problem, I reached out and we started back talking. And we came back together. And he would question me about where I'm at and what I'm doing. And I would share my location with him. But he never shared his with me. And in the interim, he's still married, and he living in his place, she living in her place, I'm living in my place. But we go out of town again and do some stuff, and I grabbed his phone. Some woman called, and I grabbed his phone, and he punched me dead in my face. No, I shouldn't have touched his phone. I shouldn't have touched this phone. Now, prior to that, he had left me stranded on the beach and all that different stuff, and I had all these feelings, and I shouldn't have touched this phone. He punched me and I hit him back. And the crazy part is we were on the highway. He pulled over to the side of the road, told me to get the F out the car and this, that, and the other. Again, but this time I'm out of town, so I wanted to call somebody and tell somebody what happened, so I called my mother. And when I called my mother and told my mother what happened, my son happened to be there. And long story short, I came back to my home and he talked to me like everything was okay and said he loved me. And I came home, he went home, and I never called him again, didn't talk to him again. And then there was a tragedy that happened. And when he heard about it, he reached out and we started talking again. And somewhere along the line, the girl that he hit me over, she had called him, and prior to her calling him, and again, my spirit God told me to walk away and stop dealing with him a long time ago. Somewhere I lost me. Somewhere I lost my ethics. He talked to me any kind of way, and I couldn't ask him a question without him telling me. I'm trying to make it seem like I'm smarter than him. I just ask questions. And he's like, "You're not working on building nothing together." And I'm saying, how can I build something with somebody that's still married? And this woman, we'll call her Kay. Her name kept popping up, but he's swerving now. He's not dealing, but I know better. But at this point, I'm no longer liking him, but I don't want him mad at me. I no longer want him touching me. I no longer want to be intimate. There's something in me that just wanted him not to be mad. And he would want me to spend the night at his house and different stuff like that. And when I would be late for work. And I was like, nah, I just need to stay at home. And he would tell me I'm withholding the sex, and I would tell him all the stuff that we've been through. How can I be okay with being intimate with you? I'm hurting. And New Year's Eve, we were arguing about the K person because and he jumped up and he started wailing on me. He tried to slam me to the floor, and I'm screaming, let me go, let me go. I'm kicking. Now, mind you, when I told my mother what happened last time, he told me that I was wrong for telling my family. I shouldn't have told nobody. He's private. His business is his business. See, the first time I didn't tell nobody. The name calling and all of that, I just said I couldn't deal with it. I'm calling him names and this, that, and the other, and we're yelling and we're arguing. And I'm saying if he just stopped dealing with me, it's like I couldn't say it was over. Like I lost me somewhere. I couldn't say it was over. I could tell him I'm not spending the night, but I couldn't say it was over. When he called, I answered the phone. And if I missed the call, I'd be talked to horribly. If I asked him why he didn't answer my call, none of your doggone business. These are things I never would have ever accepted. You know, part of me say this, what the hell you get for dealing with a married man? Well, not listening to what God told you to do a long time ago. But that's a lie, because no man deserves to put his hands on a woman. No woman deserves to put her hands on a man, but definitely no man deserves to put his hands on a woman. I would fight back, but I cannot beat no man. I might think I'm tough, but when it comes down to it, now I might be able to pick something up. And so when he fought me on New Year's Eve, I didn't tell nobody. I told 2 girlfriends, maybe 3. And after it was over, he kissed me, told me that he wouldn't act like that if he didn't love me. Told me that I couldn't get loud with him because that's what his mom used to do to him, and it brought something out in him, but he could get loud with me. And I'm telling you, God kept telling me to walk away. He kept giving me signals, kept giving me signs, and I just didn't. My girlfriend B asked me today, why not? And I used to be that person to say, what the hell is wrong with her? That dude talked to her like she got a tail. Why is she still there? Why is she still answering the phone? Why is she still dealing with him? He would call and I would answer, and he would ask for something and I'll make it available, or I'll try to do it. And just recently, you know, things have shifted, it changed drastically. You know, he was mad, he was upset. He had went out of town to visit a family member. I didn't go. He didn't answer his phone half the time. So I knew it was another woman involved. In all honesty, I was okay. But he continued to call and I continued to answer. But he wasn't asking me to come over no more. He would come over my house. Not spend a whole lot of time. Like when I would go over his house, the stuff that I had there would be removed, put different places. So just the other day, he called. He wasn't feeling well, woke up in sweats and stuff like that. And he on the phone with me and my family members, and I'm telling him that, I got some medicine, doing what I do. I'm a caretaker. I got a big heart. I'm generous and I'm kind. That's a bad thing when you do it for people that God's telling you to walk away from. So he come over and he get the stuff and medicine, and I'm concerned because, like I said, a couple of years ago he had a health scare, so I'm concerned. And he baby this and I'm baby that. And at night he come over, get dinner and everything like that. I asked him, I said, okay, I'm studying, trying to get my mind right so I can take another career change to better myself. God is working on me, and I'm praying, and I'm getting ready for this shift, and I'm getting ready to do this Christian university, and I'm finna get aligned, and because I ain't got time for this, and I need God to do what he said. God already did. God already said it's already done. I'm just not in alignment. You still holding on to people I told you to let go of. The blessings I got for you ain't for other people, not those people. You're not going to get them until you walk away, son. I'm ready to, I'm like a baby bird in the nest that the mother is making uncomfortable, and I'm ready to fly out this nest. And I call him. And the next day to check on him, he don't answer, and I go by his house. Now, granted, most people say, well, if he didn't answer, you shouldn't have went. That's true. I had butterflies, but when I got there, because I didn't know if he would be there or what, but I knocked on the door and he opened the door. And he let me in. And when he opened the door and let me in, he began to talk crazy to me. All of a sudden, you want to check on me, is what he said. And I'm like, what? You was just at the house. One thing led to another, and when he talked to me, I said, is somebody here? You got a woman up in here? And he shoves me, and I hit him. I shove him back, and he hits me, and I hit him back, and he hits me, and he hits me hard, and I fall into his wall. He knocked me into the wall. And that's why my face looked like this. But he didn't just knock me into the wall. He then grabbed me and threw me in the closet, and I'm trying to call 911. He's stepping on my phone, and I'm fighting, trying to get up. I finally free myself, and I call 911. And he go tell the girl, you're going to need to leave, the police is coming. And I stand there. Now my son say, Mom, why you stand there? For one, I'm in disbelief because blood is gushing and it's leaking out my face. For two, I wanted to see what she looked like. I wanted to see who she was. Yeah, that might sound real crazy. It sounds crazy to me saying it. And they had to take me, and I had to get stitches. Now, people in my life say, I hope you're done. People that see this might say, well, her stupid butt. reach my bottom. Over 50 some years, I've never experienced this. But I lost me in this journey. It's been 8 years. And I've been leaking the essence of who I am the whole entire time. Making one jacked up decision after another. Trying to run from the feeling, evade. What I know is that God don't bless mess. And I thank God I still have my life. And I have to forgive me. And I have to forgive him. But I ain't never gotta talk to him, see him, or anything ever again in life. He's dead to me. None of this would have happened had I not made a decision to deal with somebody else's husband. How I allow him to continue to be her problem. Or had I ran the first time he put his hands on me. I ain't proud of none of what I've done. I'm taking accountability for everything that I've done. I'm hurting. I'm hurting. I have a grandbaby. She looks at me. And she sees my face. She said, Gigi, I'm sorry. You got boo-boo. You got boo-boo, Gigi. I have grown kids. What I know is that I don't care how old they are, they still are looking at me. I'm not going to allow this situation to manifest negativity in my life. I'm going to walk in my promise and what God has been telling me to walk in. And I'm going to learn from this situation. I can say with the work that I'm about to do, the work that God is doing on me and in me, I'm never dealing with nobody else's husband, nobody else's man. I am not other woman material. I'm not no home wrecker, no side piece. I'm the woman that God created me to be. And I'm going to walk in my promise. I'm going to walk in the fullness that God has given me in the truth. I can't blame it on the devil. I can't say the enemy did it. Because when God was speaking to me, I ignored it. Because I wanted, or I thought I wanted what I thought I wanted. I don't never, ever, and I'm never going to stand for nobody disrespecting me on that level. Ever. I'm never going to step and stoop to those levels to call people out their names. Tell them your mother and their mother's dead. I'm praying and I'm asking God to give me the discernment that I need to continue to persevere. But when I see it coming, to walk the other way. To kill the old me. Because the old me is what allowed this mess to happen. To kill that me. And to birth a new me. And in order to do that, the way that I looked at love, the way that I thought love was supposed to be, that needs to be redone. It needs to be completely ripped out, threw away, and learned anew. So when I say I need to forgive me, I am definitely needing to forgive me.